for this 1.0 release. I mean, Eugene's been using the sort of power user mode, which if you're wondering what all those characters look like, they're actually exactly taken from the original Augment system. So all the original NLS and augmenters are quite familiar with that. But if he flips out of that turbo mode and goes back to that jump and view spec, I mean, the migration path here is that when you're working in a jump or in a view spec, you'll be able to start learning slowly. First, by just clicking on something and learning the mapping between what you've clicked on from a mouse GUI standpoint, and then sort of the shorter terminology for view specs, the letters that will correspond to that. So over time, you'll really start to learn. You don't have to learn all of them at once. You'll learn just one or two, the ones that you use most often. And as you start to use the system more and more, you'll start using just a few more and a few more and a few more. And then soon enough, you'll be like Eugene, you can't resist using turbo mode, and then you're at that point where you just, for the speed reasons, you've brought the whole thing into your system, and now you have a hard time not using turbo.
I can still edit faster in Pico than anything else, and I haven't used Pico for 20 years.
The reason I use turbo mode in this particular demonstration, so I don't expect people to go and learn turbo mode, actually. In fact, we would like to see if browser mode is a good sort of stage way to start learning this stuff. The reason I showed turbo mode, and one of the important things we want to get across, is that the experience of watching someone navigating through your document and working as an expert in and of itself is very compelling. One of the things that got me to buy into all this stuff in the first place was watching Doug, who used the original Augment system back in 2000, and just watching him just sort of fly through it and having no idea what he was doing, but seeing the speed at which he did that, and knowing full well that being an expert at my own tools that I have at my disposal, I couldn't do the things that he was doing with this 40-year-old piece of software. And one of the things I think, again, our challenge as a community, and one of the reasons we should take advantage of screencasts and storytelling and all this other stuff is we want to convey the experience of using a tool in an expert mode to a broad number of people. And in fact, I think most software people should be aware of this. Things like, I've seen people use just stock browsers in ways that I find incredible, right? Or people using programming environments that I use, like Emacs. I use Emacs all the time, and I'm constantly learning new tricks with Emacs that other people do, and it makes a huge amount of difference. We don't share those experiences, what it's like often, and it's something that we should do.
I was just going to mention that there is a tutorial that goes with it. We threw together the last one for this thing, and will also be evolved, but it does start you at the very basics of using the view specs button and the jump button, and just sort of gradually brings you up to the turbo mode.
Right.
Which it's embedded inside of hyperscope. So you read it, and it sort of prepares you and takes you through as you're using it.
Right.
So
why don't it might be helpful to just show where people find that.
I should have it. I'm not on the web right now, so.
Oh.
Right. So it's just, if you go up hyperscope.org, it'll be linked there. It's actually, yeah. So here it is. So we can look. Sorry, I forgot to. So yeah, so there's a tutorial, and that actually brings me to what's next for the project. Again, I think the big thing here is community-oriented stuff. A lot of it is sharing experiences. We need to beef up the website. We can use help from the community. We have some volunteers from the logo, some very talented designers who have offered to create a logo for us. And I think, I always say that a project isn't real until it has a cool name and a logo. So
And a T-shirt.
And a T-shirt.
We've got
the T-shirt. We almost have that logo.
And a song.
We have
No.
some of our team would like to have a hyperscope song. So you'd like a T-shirt?
Say it louder.
Reality show.
Every
Hyper
We got a lot of video bloggers.
How fast can you get through the hyperscope?
There's a lot of community evangelism, storytelling, documentation, website stuff. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done that has nothing to do with code. And you all can help by participating in that process, by participating in the community, by telling us if you think something sucks, tell us if you think it sucks, and tell us why you think it sucks. If you think it's great, tell us why you think it's great. If you have web talent and you want to help us, maintain the website, we can definitely use that. Design talent, there's a lot of design stuff that we really need, so we are definitely seeking volunteers. But more important than anything else, we're looking for engagement. There's a particular task that we're looking for right now. I mentioned OPML. The files are in OPML right now. OPML is a very simple XML-based format. Actually, if you do a view source on any of these hyperscope documents, you can see the OPML, which I think is kind of cool. This is a little bit messy OPML, but it's really cool right there. If you're a developer, OPML, generating OPML from the content is very easy. And what we need people to do is write transformers, things that basically transform existing content into hyperscope OPML. You can do them either dynamically, you could do like dynamic proxies that will just take content on the web and automatically convert it, or you could do static transformers. We don't care. We just want those transformers in the first place. To encourage,
there isn't much there right now.
well, so we've got a few transformers, and we're going to continue doing more. But to encourage the rest of the community to do this, we've decided to put together a little contest. And the contest is very simple. It's on our blog. What we're going to do for the first 3 people who write a transformer from some content, who release it, has to be open source, and who announces it somewhere. If you're in the Bay Area, you win lunch with Doug. And if you're not in the Bay Area, then you'll get an autograph poster. Autograph poster is still pretty good. So for those of you developers in the room, I hope the wheels are turning, right? Get it now. We're only taking the first 3 slides. And
you can use off if you want to.
You can write in whatever you want. You can do it in Mach. In fact, you might win some respect from people if you're doing it in Mach.
Or set.
Right.
Or set.
Eugene, are there bonus points for certain types of input file formats, such as PDF or OpenOffice?
No bonus points. Pick the format of your choice.
Yeah, just pick PDF first.
If you do PDF, we will be mightily impressed,
Yeah, it's hard.
especially if it works generally. So you will win.
Lunch and dinner.
That's not.
And just a quick thing about OpenML is one of those classic big wonder formats that at the end of the day really only has one element, which is outline. So to write a basic transformer is quite easy. And Eugene didn't completely say, but we work with the basic OpenML, and we've got some special little tags that are optional for things like those node IDs, things like that. But those are all optional. So you can sprinkle those in if you want, but basically it's one tag.
The other thing we want, we certainly want JavaScript contributors to come and help out with the coding stuff. That would be fantastic. But integrate this stuff into your software. It's really easy to do. I was integrating into a wiki, and it's not completely done yet, but it took me about 6 hours, and this is because I'm slow. Because it's just a JavaScript library, and you just have to generate OPML, it's very straightforward. And so we thought, I'll tell you what, if you do that in your application, you'll get lunch also. So that counts too. I'm changing the rules on the fly. The last thing that we want to do. And isn't it easy to just offer someone else, we'll just eat with this person.
It won't be McDonald's.
It won't be McDonald's. It'll be a good lunch. Yeah. It'll be a good lunch. The last thing, this goes back to something that Doug said a little while ago, and I think it's really important for us all to walk away with it. Doug is known for being a visionary. Right? If you look at all the awards he won, if you Google Doug Visionary, you're going to find a lot of references. And I think what's pretty sad about that is that when people associate visionary and Doug, they're thinking about things like hyperscope, not hyperscope, sorry, hypertext, they're thinking about the mouse, they're thinking about all of these things that came out of his large lab. And I think that's a grave injustice to what the actual vision was. And so I highly encourage all of you to read the 1962 paper to see what that vision is all about. And for those of you here in this room, you've really got a special opportunity, not just to talk to Doug himself, but the people in the arts lab, right? The people who are working on all this stuff, who are building all this stuff, who are really knowledgeable about the big picture altogether. I really encourage you, don't be shy, walk up to these folks, introduce yourself, and just be like, okay, so what's this all about? Why do you care about this? And have a conversation with these folks.
Raise your hand.
Raise your hand if, once again, if you were at all. They're all sort of
Yeah.
and talk to each other about it too. Let's be generous.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves. Thank you very much for coming.
Talk to myself.
I need to add something to that. It's how far we got with augmented stuff is still beyond what so far I've gotten with this thing. There's more to go with stable than that. So all of that's being really plan for how you really are going to augment our collective ability to understand things. And the concepts and the strategies for that, have grown a lot like this. So the implementation is up here, and if you go changing that a lot, it could ruin the schema for what the bigger plan is. So, but one of the problems for me has been that describing that bigger plan has just always stumbled all over the place. And if we can get people that get interested in this and would like to start dialogue about what the bigger thing is, for instance, seriously, India started about a year ago. The Prime Minister set up what he calls the National Knowledge Commission. And now within 6 months, they had 20 or 30 commissioners assigned to it, etc. But with a target that within the 5 years they're going to do something to really start India on a real evolutionary path to become a knowledge economy. Really, right? So I had a chance to talk to a bunch of them like this about beyond this thing like this at this scale and the kind of strategy thinking like this, and it really struck a chord in me. So you said, okay, I really feel like whole countries can decide that there are strategies we can follow that will start to lift the capability for everybody to do knowledge work a great deal better, and especially getting together and really studying any really complex system about gathering and integrating the knowledge into something coherent that's sort of optimally set up for learning and testing, etc. So anyway, what I really many times in the past, people have bought some of the ideas like this, and then they say it should go off like this, and at least we standing here trying to point and stutter about this. So anyway, if people get interested in all of this, I'd really appreciate if we have a chance to do the dialogue about it. Jack Parks, coming after a PhD, and grabbed this from his desk, and that sort of sense-making in a pragmatic web, a hypermedia discourse perspective, some of the things that are going on at the Open University in England that are really along a path downstream where all the stuff we're talking about here could be a strong basic support. And it's sort of an example of a goal and a pursuit that's just tied very much. So anyway, that's what I'd like if people get interested in this, and see a lot of changes they could make. Have some kind of dialogue about what kind of changes would throw us off course and what we do. Anyway, that's it's some of the off-course pursuits that got inflicted on us in the past years. We now seem kind of look well.
Are there, so I want to get us going to the bar so we can start drinking, which is the real point of all this. Are there any quick questions about the hyperscope? Quick ones. You can talk to any of us, at the bar. We'll talk about things in detail. Valerie.
What are the little icons on the?
Oh, these are. I'm sorry. Okay, this is part of the user-friendly interface. This is these are Zoom buttons.
It actually tells you.
Right. This is the tutorial, right? Right. These are so full view. Full view is this icon right here, right? So if I just click on that, that basically shows the full view of the document. But if I want to zoom in and out of the document, I can go ahead and do that. This lets me basically zoom up, right? So it's giving you sort of a top level view. And now I want to dig deeper into introduction, or I want to dig deeper into zooming. So now I can zoom into it, zoom down basically by clicking this middle button. And that takes me to zooming, and it opens one more level. And I can keep opening up levels by clicking on the zoom button.
So did you have a philosophical objection to tooltips, or just run out of time?
Run out of time.
And if you would like to build some tooltips for us, we would much appreciate it. Again.
No,
Any other questions?
What's the for NSF folks?
That's a good question. Our contract expires in a month, and we're going to apply for another round, and maybe we get it, maybe we don't. And we'll try and see if there are some other funding paths. And if anyone else comes to know of or would like to help fund projects or discuss funding or discuss opportunities to really empower and enable this work, talk to us. We'd love to hear about it.
How about ongoing discussion? We've been finding the emails interesting, but they swamp my.
We need to, as a team, we need to start bootstrapping. There's another design principle in the project, which is that if we're talking about high performance collaboration, then we need to be high performance at it ourselves. To some extent, we've been pretty good about it. I think we've been very good about it in some levels, and I think we've been not so good about it on others. Our use of online tools has been a weakness, but we'll keep improving that. There are best practices out there right now that have nothing to do with hyperscopes or any of this stuff that we need to start integrating as a team and also as a community. And I think having an influx in the community is going to help us be disciplined about that.
One thing that would help is have a forum that's hyperscope.
Right,
Yeah.
a hyperscope enabled.
So you can browse around and all that. So that's 2 dinners on the
Any other questions? Christina will come to the dinner.
Yeah, transforming email archives for the actual current emails. You go there, sprinkling some of these extra attributes on there. Just a similar way to how Ogden email works.
Yes.
Ogden email is interesting.
I wonder if there could be a market, if you will, and just giving someone a tool to eat all of your Microsoft Outlook and hyperscope it so you can navigate your own email.
That would be a lunch candidate.
That's the market. The market's up for lunch.
Right, that's the incentives. Right. Any other quick questions? Great, okay. Thank you very much for coming. Here's a plan from this point forward. I mentioned that this sort of wing of SRI is historical, it's important. What we're going to do next is also something that's important. When we started this project, Jeff told me that one of the things they used to do in the lab was they used to go walk down to Oasis and basically close that thing down. So we're going to see if us you folks can do the same and relive some of those old memories. It's buy your own drinks, buy your own food, but to help celebrate, Jeff has offered to pick up the first round of drinks. So thank you very much, Jeff.
We wouldn't go there until work was over, which was about 11 or 12.
And so we're actually running a little early. I thought we were running late. It's within walking distance, but it's like 15 minutes. Like it's also drivable too. So if some of you want to drive or some of you want to carpool, we'll pull up a map on the El Camino. Yeah, it's just on El Camino, and then it's on the right. South of El Camino. We'll walk as a big group, and then if folks want to drive,
Tell your friends about Hyperscope. Blog about it.
Can we talk about it?
Yes.
Thank you very much, everybody. Let's go over.
Hi, Dan. Would you please send us to Smithsonian on anything?
Yeah. This place has got some character.
Yeah.